Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are no longer hoping, no longer waiting. You are not in lack, you are not chasing, you are now. Feel the weight of the world lifted from your shoulders, not because someone saved you, but because the version of you who is already free, already wealthy, already standing in the flow of $50 million, 0 cents, has awakened. Let me remind you of a truth that has been buried beneath your doubts. You already have it. There is no need to hustle harder, to beg the world to give you more, or to ask permission from life itself. Creation is finished. All versions of you already exist, and the one with $50 million, 0 cents is just one assumption away. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not tomorrow, not when the evidence shows, right now. You must walk, talk, breathe, and rest in the knowing that it is already yours. Because money does not come to the needy, it comes to the one who knows it is already theirs. You are not poor. That is a memory, a phantom, a fading echo of an old state you no longer occupy. What you feel now, deeply and consistently, will clothe itself in form. Imagine it now, your accounts overflowing, your home reflecting abundance, your freedom unshaken by circumstance. Imagine not as a beggar, but as a creator, not as a wish, but as a fact. Do not ask how. The how is none of your business. The universe rearranges itself around the feeling you sustain, and your only job is to persist in that state until what is invisible becomes undeniable. You do not wait for wealth, you become wealth. You do not wait for a miracle, you are the miracle. $50 million, 0 cents is already mine. I'm not going to get it, I have it now. I accept it, I feel it, I live from it. Say it until you believe it. Then believe it until you no longer need to say it because you'll be living it. And that's when the world will catch up. Breathe. Forget where you are, forget who you've been, forget what is in your bank account, and forget the world that tries so hard to remind you of what you lack. Instead, step into the secret place, the inner sanctuary where all things are possible. Here you are free, here you are powerful, and here you already have the $50 million, 0 cents. Now, don't just imagine it as a number in an account. Feel what it means. What does it feel like to know you never have to worry about money again? What does it feel like to wake up and realize that life is now on your terms, that everything you once dreamed of is now simply your reality? This feeling, this inner experience, is the bridge. It is the link between the desire you hold and the world that reflects it. Most people try to force life into giving them what they want. They work tirelessly, striving, hustling, hoping, begging, all from the state of lack. But what they do not see is that life responds not to effort, but to assumption. The assumption that it is already done, that it is already yours, that you are no longer desiring it, but living from it. The secret is not in doing more, the secret is in being more. Be the person who already has it, not in pretense, but in awareness. If $50 million, 0 cents were truly yours now, how would you walk? How would you think? How would you speak? You must dare to enter that version of yourself and dwell there, not as a visitor, but as a resident. You see, desire is only the beginning. It is the spark, but feeling is the fire. Feeling is what sets the wheels in motion. It is the signal you send out to life, the language the invisible world understands. When you feel lack, the world mirrors back more lack. When you feel abundance, it must reflect abundance. Do not wait to see it in the outer world before you believe. That is not creation, that is reaction. Creation happens in the unseen. You create with your inner world, and the outer world has no choice but to follow. So train yourself to feel the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not just in moments of meditation, but in every idle moment. Feel it. Embody it. Let your imagination be bold. Let it be real. Picture yourself walking through your dream home, not as a dream, but as a memory. Hear your voice on the phone with your banker moving millions. Feel the texture of the life that belongs to you. Let it take over your senses. Let it rewrite your reality. This is not fantasy. This is the law of consciousness. What you accept as true within yourself becomes the truth you walk through. So never again say, I want, for wanting implies you do not have. Say instead, I am. I have. It is done. Because in the realm of spirit, it is already so. You are not imagining to create it. You are imagining to recognize what has already been created. You are not convincing the universe. You are convincing yourself. And once you believe it, the world will bend to that belief. The feeling is the key that unlocks the door. It is the proof of faith, the evidence of things not yet seen. So, live from the feeling, let it consume you, let it guide you, and one day soon, you'll look around and realize what you once imagined is now your life. What you see right now, the life you're living, the people around you, the money in your account, the job you hold, it is not the cause, it is the effect. The result of the imaginal acts you've once accepted as true. You may not remember the exact moment you imagined these things into being, but you did. Everything around you was first created in your mind. Every experience, every condition, every so-called coincidence, it was shaped by thought, molded by imagination, and sustained by belief. We are taught to believe that what we see with our physical eyes is the real world. But this is the great illusion. What you call reality is simply the solidified version of your inner world. It is a mirror, a delayed reflection of what you have accepted and entertained within yourself. If you do not like what you see, there is no use in fighting the reflection. The only transformation that lasts is the one that begins in the mind. Imagination is not some playful distraction. It is divine. It is creative power. It is the workshop of the world. Everything you ever built, touched, loved, or lost was first born in the invisible realm of thought. So why do we doubt it? Why do we look at our present circumstances and believe they are fixed, unchangeable? Because we have forgotten the truth. The outer world is not the master. It is the servant. If you want to change your life, you must go to the root, and the root is within. No one can see what you're imagining, but everyone will witness its effects. Do not underestimate the power that lies behind closed eyes and a quiet mind. In that stillness, you are shaping nations. In that inner silence, you are rewriting your life. The moment you begin to imagine a new reality and accept it as real, not someday, not maybe, but now, you begin to plant seeds in consciousness, and like every seed, it needs no effort on your part to grow. It only requires your faith. Water it with your attention, nourish it with repetition, protect it from the weeds of doubt, and in time it must bear fruit. You cannot imagine one thing and expect another. You cannot dwell in poverty in your mind and expect riches to knock at your door. You cannot hold on to memories of failure and hope success will bloom. Life is just. It gives you exactly what you assume to be true, and that truth is not determined by your words, but by your inner state. So you must imagine differently, boldly, radically. You must dare to believe that your imagination is more real than what your senses report, because it is. The senses only tell you what was. Imagination tells you what can be. And if you persist in the assumption of your desire, your senses must eventually confirm it. They have no choice. The world does not change first. You do. And once you do, the world cannot help but change with you. Because imagination is not a dream. It is the foundation of all that exists. It is the only reality. Hold fast to it, and everything else will follow. There is a quiet power that moves mountains, opens doors, and multiplies wealth, and it does so without noise, without struggle, and without force. It does not shout, it whispers. It lives not in the world of action, but in the stillness of your inner being. And it is there in the silence of your mind that all things are claimed. Not earned, not chased, claimed. You have been taught to fight for money, to strive endlessly, to wake early and run faster, work harder, push beyond your limits. You've been told the world rewards those who hustle, who bleed, who sacrifice everything just to taste a drop of financial freedom, but that is not how true wealth is made. That is how it is chased, and often how it slips through your fingers. The real source of wealth is within, and it does not respond to desperation, it responds to acceptance. You do not have to convince the world you are worthy of money. You do not have to beg life to bless you. You only have to accept in the quiet sanctuary of your own mind that it is already yours. This is not denial of reality, this is mastery of it. Because reality is fluid, it bends to the assumptions you hold in consciousness. And when you claim something internally, not wishfully, but confidently, the world rearranges itself to match that inner knowing. So what does this claiming look like? It is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is subtle. You sit in stillness, you close your eyes, and you feel the truth of it. You hear the inner voice that says, I already have more than enough. You do not argue with it, you do not doubt it. You accept it as your new state of being. In this state, there is no need to hustle to prove yourself. There is no need to compare yourself to anyone else. There is no need to worry about how it will come. The how belongs to the wisdom of life itself. Your only role is to claim it. Think of the wealthy version of you, not in the future, now. What are they thinking? How do they feel about money? How do they walk through the world? They are not frantic. They are not anxious. They are calm. They are certain. They expect abundance, and therefore it finds them not because of effort, but because of alignment. This is the secret most ignore. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. And you become what you assume. So assume the role now. Be the person who already has it. Feel that peace. Feel that confidence. Not for 5 minutes, but for as long as it takes, until it becomes natural. Let others chase. Let them stress. You have found the still place, the place where all things begin. And from that place you speak not to the world, but to yourself. I have it. And that quiet claim echoes into the fabric of reality, weaving the events, people, and opportunities that lead you exactly where you belong. There is no need to announce it, no need to prove it. What is truly yours cannot be taken. What is claimed in consciousness cannot be denied in the outer world. So speak not with your mouth, but with your inner vision. Declare not to others, but to yourself, again and again, until your soul believes it. And when you believe, the world will reflect, not because you forced it, but because you claim it in the silence of your mind. To persist in the unseen is to claim a higher order of reality, one that is not dependent on appearances, but anchored in conviction. What you see in the outer world is only a reflection of a former state of mind. It is not the truth of your present assumption. Therefore, to let what is seen determine what is believed is to surrender your power. You are not here to react to the world, you are here to create it. When you imagine a life of wealth, abundance, and ease, and yet wake up to unpaid bills, lack, or disappointment, that is the moment of choice. Will you persist in the unseen, Will you remain faithful to what you have claimed in consciousness, even when all the evidence around you says otherwise? Or will you fall into doubt, which is nothing but the mind denying the gift that was already given? Doubt is the thief. It is the subtle voice that whispers, maybe this isn't working. But that voice only arises when the outer world does not immediately validate your inner assumption. Do you see the trap? That voice believes the seen world is more real than the unseen one. But all that you now experience was once unseen. It was once only a thought, a feeling, an assumption. So why would you put your trust in what has been rather than what is becoming? Persisting in the unseen is the highest act of faith. It is declaring, I know what I have assumed, I know what I have accepted, and I will not be moved. It is standing in the invisible truth, knowing it must externalize, not by force, but by law. What you accept in imagination, what you feel to be true, must take shape. The bridge of incidents will appear, even if you cannot yet see how. Your role is not to make it happen, but to hold the state where it already has. The world may laugh at such certainty. It may call it delusion. But what is delusion except refusing to accept that imagination is more powerful than circumstance? What the world calls delusion, the wise call creation. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every invention began in the unseen. The dreamer who refused to give up, who refused to bow to facts, who persisted, he is the one who changes the world. This is especially true when it comes to wealth. You may declare that $50 million, 0 cents is yours. You may feel it in meditation, see it clearly in your mind. Yet the next day your account says 0. Your job feels limiting. The world seems unchanged. And this is where most give up. They say it's not working. But the truth is, it is working. The seed is planted, the soil has been watered. But because the fruit has not yet bloomed, they dig up the roots with doubt. Remain. Stay faithful. Every time doubt creeps in, return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that appearances lie. What is seen is old. What is real is what you've chosen in consciousness. And that reality, if not disturbed, must manifest. Let the outer world do what it will. It can scream, lack, show, delay, offer contradiction, but you are unmoved. You are anchored in the unseen. You know who you are. You know what is yours. And you persist, not in effort, not in struggle, but in stillness. The stillness of knowing, the quiet power of certainty. Because to persist in the unseen is to say, I already have it. And that, without exception, is how all miracles are born. There comes a time when asking must end and knowing must begin. The one who constantly asks, who repeatedly begs or pleads, is unknowingly affirming that they do not have. Each request is a subtle declaration of lack, a whisper that says, it is not yet mine. But when you move from asking to knowing, you shift the entire rhythm of your reality. You cease to chase, and instead, you become. The reason knowing is powerful is because it is complete. It does not look for evidence, it does not hope, it possesses. To know something in consciousness is to fuse with it so completely that the outer world has no choice but to conform. You are no longer trying to get money, success, love, or recognition. You are simply walking through the world as the one who already has it. This is not arrogance, this is not fantasy. This is the spiritual law at work. When you ask, you are like a beggar outside the gates, hands stretched, waiting for permission. But when you know, you are the owner of the estate, walking in your garden. The same request that once came from desperation now vanishes, because the result is already assumed. Knowing is not about words, it is about being. You can say, I know I'm rich, and yet still carry the inner feeling of scarcity. You can tell yourself it's done while your energy screams, I hope it happens. This is why so many affirm without results. They are still asking on the inside, still doubting, still wondering if it will work. The shift happens when you no longer wonder because you already are. You're not trying to win the lottery. You're the person who has already received it. You're not hoping for wealth. You're adjusting your world to the wealth that is yours. The moment you stop asking and start knowing, the conversation with the universe changes. You are no longer separate from the thing you desire. You are it. Imagine walking into a room and knowing $50 million, 0 cents is already yours. Would you act differently, speak differently? Would you feel more secure, more free, more relaxed? That's your work, to feel from that version of you now, because knowing brings embodiment, and embodiment brings manifestation. When you stop asking, you stop pushing it away. When you start knowing, you magnetize it to you. People often say, I've been manifesting for so long, why hasn't it happened? The answer is almost always this: because you never stopped asking. You stayed in a loop of wanting, requesting, and waiting. But the ones who receive fast, the ones who shift effortlessly, they walk as if it's already so. They live from the end, not toward it. They know. Knowing is a calm thing. It is quiet. It does not need validation. It carries a peace that surpasses proof. When you know, you do not check for signs. You do not ask when. You do not look to others for reassurance. You simply hold the state because you are the state. This is the secret behind miracles. The healer does not wonder if the body will be restored. He knows it already is. The visionary does not question if the business will succeed. He sees the future clearly and lives from it now. You too must begin to know your life into existence. So the next time you find yourself wanting to ask, pause. Replace it with inner conviction. Say within, it is already done. Then feel the shift. You'll notice your breathing slows. Your body relaxes. That anxious energy dissolves because you are no longer a seeker. You are now the source. And from that state, the world will echo your certainty. It will bring you the evidence you no longer need, the manifestation you already believed. Because in the end, you don't get what you ask for. You get what you know is yours. To live from the end is to move beyond time, beyond doubt, beyond the illusion of separation. It means you no longer wait for the $50 million, 0 cents to appear before you believe it is yours. You claim it first in consciousness and then live as the one who already has it. You do not ask when it will come. You do not chase signs. And you certainly do not let the numbers on a bank screen define your identity. You are not becoming rich. You are rich now. The world simply has to catch up. This is not about pretending. This is not wishful thinking. It is embodiment. It is stepping into the role that matches your desire and refusing to step out of it. If you believe the lottery win or the massive inheritance is something you must get to, then you've placed it ahead of you, like a dangling carrot. You are always on the way, never arriving. But the moment you live from the end, it becomes your present experience, not a hope, not a maybe, a fact. Most people play the lottery from lack. They pick numbers while feeling poor. They hope to win, but their hearts are filled with disbelief. They imagine how nice it would be, but live every day as though it's not going to happen. And so they perpetuate the state of not having. They are playing from the middle, not from the end. But the one who understands this law plays differently. You don't play the lottery trying to win. You play it knowing that you've already won. That's a different posture. That's not just optimism, it's certainty. When you fill out your ticket, do it with the energy of gratitude. with a deep inner stillness that says, "Thank you, it is done." Don't check the numbers in desperation. Check them as a confirmation of what you already accepted within. Living from the end means you make decisions as the version of yourself who already has the $50 million, 0 cents. How would you walk? How would you speak? What would you stop worrying about? You don't need to quit your job impulsively or buy things you can't yet afford, but you can embody the freedom, peace, and abundance right now. Feel it, dwell in it, make it normal. And when doubt tries to whisper, "But you haven't won yet," you gently respond, "I have already received it in consciousness, and the physical must obey." You don't argue with the senses, you outgrow them. You stop needing their permission. This is the divine act, when you choose the unseen over the visible and live fully from the place where the miracle is not just possible, but already done. The outer world will always delay in reflecting the inner world. That's how time works. There is a natural unfolding, but when you live from the end, you are no longer measuring time, you're resting in fulfillment, and that stillness draws the event to you faster than frantic effort ever could. So the next time you play the lottery, change your approach. Don't play because you're trying to escape something. Play because you've already arrived. Imagine holding the winning ticket. Feel the surge of peace, not excitement or desperation, just peace. Walk through your day as if the wealth is secured. When you do this, you are not trying to manipulate the outcome, you are aligning with it. This is the magic, not in the numbers, not in luck, but in the knowing. The knowing that reality bends to your assumption, and the end you live from becomes the path you walk. Because when you are already it, the world must rearrange to reflect it. And then, without warning, what was once a fantasy will greet you as a fact. You were never meant to chase, beg, or struggle for your desires. You were meant to assume, imagine, persist, and know. The $50 million, 0 cents, is not somewhere far off in the future. It exists now, in the realm of your consciousness, waiting for your alignment. Every thought, every inner conversation, every assumption is creating the blueprint of your reality. Stop asking, stop hoping, stop waiting for signs. Be still, be certain, and live from the end. Or imagination is not daydreaming, it is the foundation of reality. Assume the feeling, accept it in silence, and persist, even when the world shows you the opposite. This is how the bridge of incidents will unfold, effortlessly leading you to what you already claimed within. The money, the freedom, the peace, it's already yours. Think from it, not of it. Live from it, not toward it. This is the secret to unlocking the life that was always meant for you. You're not to value being for watching, for listening, and for awakening to the truth of your power. You are not waiting on the world is waiting on you. Keep imagining boldly, believing completely, and knowing deeply. The evidence will follow.